Hey, I'm gonna show you how to perfectly cook a piece of salmon, and we'll make a red wine barbecue sauce. For this barbecue sauce, we're gonna put about a half a bottle of wine on the stove to reduce. This is a Tempranillo, which has those dark berry and cherry flavors, plus a little bit of leather, which is perfect for salmon and barbecue sauce. Plus it was about $8. Now let me bring you down here with our salmon. If you bought yours like I bought mine, sometimes it can come with a little bit of skin on it. If you don't want the skin on here with a piece this small, you can just flip it over, just gently start to peel this off. If you're having trouble holding on to the salmon skin, you can use the help of a clean kitchen towel. Now we can flip this back over, and we're gonna cut this into 2 pieces. Once you reduce your wine by at least half, we're gonna add about 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground ginger. We're dealing in pinches here when we season this, but just to give you amounts, it's about 1/8 of a teaspoon. Maybe a little less than 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground clove, a little less than 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground mustard, about 1/8 of a teaspoon of onion powder, about a teaspoon of brown sugar, about a teaspoon of tomato paste. The tomato paste is optional, but it will help with the texture of this as it reduces a little bit more. Then about 4 to 5 scrapes of nutmeg. Then we'll whisk this together. We'll put it back on a low burner to reduce it just a little bit more. This is reduced probably by half again, and you can see how much quantity we have. So if you want more, you can use the whole bottle of wine. But we reduce this to this texture here. It's slightly thicker than a nappe consistency, which we've talked about before, where it clings onto this spoon. Then we're gonna season both sides of this fish with salt and pepper, and that skin trick works even a little bit better if the fish is partially frozen. Come on, I'll show you how I cook pretty much all fish. Then in a pan over medium heat, we're gonna add a couple tablespoons of olive oil. Once the olive oil is hot, it's gonna look like it's shimmering in the pan. Hold your piece of salmon by the thicker side like this, and we're gonna place it down into the hot oil away from us. You want it to sizzle right away. If it doesn't, pick it up out of the pan and start when it sizzles. And we're cooking this whole piece of fish on the low side of medium. Let me show you in here. You can see where the cooked line is. It's gonna keep rising as we cook this piece of fish because we're gonna cook this about 80% of the way on one side. This will not only help us develop a beautiful golden crust, but I'll show you how it's going to ensure that we don't overcook our fish. And now you can see this pale cook line has risen even further up the side of the fish. I like salmon a little bit medium to medium rare, so we're gonna flip this now, and just be gentle and pay attention to what you're doing. When the salmon is ready, it will release from the pan. We're not forcing it, we're just suggesting it comes up out of the pan. You're gonna flip this, cut the heat off, and if you're just cooking a piece of salmon, you're gonna let this sit in this pan like this off the heat for 2 minutes. It's gonna be perfectly cooked. But since we made a barbecue sauce, you can serve your barbecue sauce on the side, but sometimes I like to brush it right on top of the piece of fish. We'll stick it under the broiler for about 30 seconds, and it's gonna turn into like a barbecue flavored red wine candy. And follow me if you're never gonna overcook a piece of fish ever again.